the Radha Madhav deities in a very, very, it's also called like kind of Kshetra Sanyas. They never left Mayapur because their guru told them, be here. Practically never left. One or two instances at a very, like after 40 years, they just moved for the TOVP, fund collection, but they practically never moved. One instance which is coming to my mind is that when one devotee had written this, that Pankajanghari Prabhu had come to US for something, and for this TOVP project probably, and then his brother Jananivas Prabhu asked him, "How are you feeling? How is it?" So he's replied that, they are giving me a lot of nice guest reception and everything. They are confusing me to be you because we look similar. They're confusing me to be you, and they are thinking that I am Jananivas Prabhu. So they're giving me a lot of respect. So that's the humility these wonderful souls have. They're living Bhagavat, not thinking about, in this day and age, everyone is thinking about my health, my wealth, my family, my this, my that. They gave up everything to serve Prabhupada unalloyed, in an unalloyed way. And what did Prabhupada write for them? Prabhupada, this is a conversation which you may have already read, but I'll read for our purification. So it's the conversation between Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada revealing the transcendental position of Pankajanghari Prabhu and Jananivas Prabhu. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, these two brothers, the pujaris, referring to Pankajanghari Prabhu and Jananivas Prabhu, Prabhupada said, yes, they are ideal. Tamal Krishna Maharaj. They look like they are out of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. They appear as two persons right out of the book. Prabhupada. Yes, they are very good boys. At that time, they must be in their late 20s. Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Vaikuntha men, Prabhupada. Oh yes, they don't know except the deity. They don't know except the deity. Isn't that amazing? They don't know anything besides serving Radha and Krishna and Nrsingadev. Tamal Krishna Maharaj, perfect team of brothers, Prabhupada. Oh yes, therefore Krishna has brought them here in Mayapur. Previously they were very, very advanced. All of you are simply born because the mission was to be started. So that means these devotees who came to assist Prabhupada were not just any ordinary jivas, very, very advanced souls who had specially come to assist their spiritual master in this pastimes. So, an epitome of humility, an epitome of devotion, an epitome of bhakti, and known for their dealings with the deities. Because Prabhupada said they don't know anything but the deities. So what does Krishna say in return? Krishna says, if someone says, I don't know anything but the Supreme Lord, Krishna says, I don't know anything but my devotee. The devotee stays in the heart of Krishna, and Krishna stays in the heart of such devotees. Devotees knows nothing but the Lord knows nothing but the devotees. One time, Pankajanghari Prabhu or Charanivas Prabhu, I also get confused because they look so similar. They had come for the TOVP fundraising, and then devotees were asking. They had this, to keep the context in mind. They were away from their home or Western country for decades. For 30, 40 years, they were in just Mayapur before this TOVP project even started. And they were used to very strict, austere life. And then they came to US, one of the brothers, and then And then they were staying in some devotee's home, moving from city to city. And then one devotee asked that, how is the US? How is everything? He said, well, everything is okay, but I think people are very austere here. I said, why? Because in the cold winter, they are taking a cold uh, water bath. So, and then someone asked, like, why you're taking cold water bath? Because then devotee told that they were not aware that this kind of knob, or the what do you call, like the shower knob, what do you call that? I don't know. The shower thing, you move it right side and left side, it turns hot and cool. He was not aware. He said, oh, okay, just pull it and it sprays out water, and it's very, very cold water. So it was like so simple, so humble. It was just, he had been very, very cold water. He had been showering with that in the cold time, and then that's why he was feeling that people are very austere here. Not even like so simple, childlike, not knowing that uh, this is their humility, steadiness. There are countless pastimes and countless exchanges of Lord with these two brothers. They have written books on that. Exchanges of Sri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani and of Rajapur, and how Lord reciprocates, how Lord Nrsimhadev reciprocates. Because if someone knows nothing but the Lord, then the Lord knows nothing but the devotee. So, to such a person, the Lord certainly reciprocates. These are the two brothers, Sri Pankajanghari Prabhu and Jananivas Prabhu, living a life of extraordinary devotion and living an example for all of us. Anyone wants to say any few words or anything from their heart? Anyone wants to share something? Any offering, any memories, any peace?
Prabhuji, just curious. These two brothers, these great souls, they remain brahmachari, never taken sannyas. Do you know why it is happened?
Well, it's not that every brahmachari has to take sannyas. Some, so it's a different, probably their personal choice. I would say I don't know the exact reason, but probably their personal choice. There, there are a lot of other brahmacharis also. That it's not that every brahmachari, even if they spend 30, 40, 50 years, will take sannyas. That is certainly not the criteria. Um, and Prabhupada kind of gave them a service which was very dear to their heart, to take care of deities. So they served Prabhupada in that way, because that was his kind of personal instruction to them. To And sannyasi means traveling. Sannyasi means traveling, parivrajikacharya. But they were kind of, they probably didn't want to travel because they wanted to serve Prabhupada in that way in Mayapur Dham for almost 50 plus years, around 50 years. Um, they just served in that way, 40 plus years, something. Yes. So that's my little understanding.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
But one point actually, I think Prahlad Maharaj or some other sannyasi said they are more than sannyasis. so, so actually, sannyas again is not just a change of dress, as but they were more than sannyasis. Like as we were discussing yesterday, also, sannyas is not just a ritual; it's a state of consciousness, complete absorption in Krishna, and complete detachment from anything which is not connected to Krishna. So they had that. Therefore, the deities were personally reciprocating with them. So these personalities are living examples. These are not just in the books. These are not just in the bygone era. They are living Bhagavatas. Any other devotees want to share for those who felt any inspiration or have any memories or anything you want to say? No?
It's a great inspiration to know about this type of souls. But when I read or some things or somewhere, then feel so low at the same side. So it's like two ways. Feeling good reading them, but feeling myself too low as well.
Yes, that's so true. This should just help us to take their shelter more and more. That these souls are not just ordinary souls, they are Vaikuntha men. They are specially come for this purpose to please their guru, to assist, like how when Krishna comes, he sends his army, or like all the monkeys came, all the specials. They were not just ordinary monkeys, or as Prabhupada said, dancing white elephants. They were not just some dancing white elephants. They were specially descended for the purpose of spreading the Yuga Dharma, the prophecy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Point, and then maybe if time permits, we can chant one round together. Inspired to sing the general prayers. Anyone feeling inspired to sing? Anyone?
Oh, I can chant.
Yes, please. We'll read the translation first.
Yes, bro.
He who brought the treasure of divine love and who was filled with compassion and mercy, where has such a personality as Advaitacharya gone? Where are my Swarup Damodara and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatana? Where is Raghunath Dasa, the savior of the fallen? Where are my Raghunath Bhatta and Gopala Bhatta? And where is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against the rock and enter into the fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities, being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all of these devotees, in whose association he performed his pastimes? Narottam Das Thakur simply weeps. Veer Prabhu, you want to start?
যে আনিল প্রেম ধন করুণা প্রচুর যে আনিল প্রেম ধন করুণা প্রচুর হেন প্রভু কোথা গেলা আচার্য ঠাকুর হেন প্রভু প্রভু কোথা গেলা আচার্য ঠাকুর কাহা মোর স্বরূপ রূপ কাহা সনাতন কাহা মোর স্বরূপ রূপ কাহা সনাতন কাহা দাস রঘুনাথ পতিত পাবন কাহা দাস রঘুনাথ পতিত পাবন কাহা মোর ভট্ট যুগ কাহা কবিরা কাহা মোর ভট্ট যুগ কাহা কবিরা একাকালে কোথা গেলা গৌরা নটরা একাকালে কোথা গেলা গৌরা নটরা পাশানে কুটিব মাথা অনলে পশিব পাশানে কুটিব মাথা অনলে পশিব গৌরাঙ্গ গু মের নিধি কোথা গেলে পাব গৌরাঙ্গ গু মের নিধি কোথা গেলে পাব সেসব সঙ্গীরা সঙ্গে যে কইলা বিলা সেসব সঙ্গীরা সঙ্গে যে কইলা বিলা সে সঙ্গ না পাইয়া কান্দে নরোত্তম দাস সে সঙ্গ না পাইয়া কান্দে নরোত্তম দাস সে আনিল প্রেম ধন করুণা প্রচুর যে আনিল প্রেম ধন করুণা প্রচুর হেন প্রভু কোথা গেলা আচার্য ঠাকুর হেন প্রভু কোথা গেলা আচার্য ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
His Grace Pankajanghari Prabhu ki jai. His
Jai,
Grace Pankajanghari Prabhu ki jai. His Grace
Jai,
Pankajanghari Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabir Prabhu. So we'll read some verses from Bhagavatam for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada and for the pleasure of His Grace Pankajanghari Prabhu, and pray at the lotus feet of His Grace Pankajanghari Prabhu that we can follow in the great example He has given the world and follow the lotus feet of His Grace Pankajanghari Prabhu. The word Pankajangri actually means lotus feet. Namah Pankajanabhaya, Namah Pankajamaline, Namah Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajangri. It's so amazing. He is actually the servant of the lotus feet of Shri Radha Madhav and Shri Nrsingadev and Prahlad Maharaj. So let's pray from our hearts so we can become the servant of Srila Prabhupada, that will please Srila Pankaj, our Society for Krishna Consciousness, and Radha Madhav Ishtaki. So we'll read a few verses from the Bhagavatam. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyam tato jayam udirayet nashtraprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Namaha Pankajanaabhaya, Namaha Pankajamaline, Namaha Pankajanitraya, Namaste Pankajangriye, Krishnaya Vasudevaya, Devaki Nandanaya Cha, Nandagopa Kumaraya, Govindaya, Namo Namaha, Guruve Gaurachandraya, Radhikaya Tadalaye, Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya, Tadbhaktaya, Namo Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for joining. Special gratitude to everyone for joining. I see especially His Grace Sridham Prabhu is there. Thank you, Prabhuji. Kartik Prabhu, Uday Prabhu is there. We were really missing you for a long time. Thank you for joining, and Priyanka Mataji has joined as well. And to all the regular devotees as well. Thank you for taking out your time to read about the person Bhagavat and the book Bhagavat. These are the two types of Bhagavatas. So, Sridhama Prabhu, would you like to read text 10 if it's okay for you? We would like to hear something from you. Or Kartik Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Text 10. Itthamsa nischitya pitamaho mahan Agada bodho bhagav agada bodho bhavata pada padmam dhruvam prapide hi akuto bhayam janat bhita swapaksha kshapar nasya sattama. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. My grandfather, the best of all men, who achieved unlimited knowledge and was worshipable for everyone, was afraid of the common men in this world. Being fully convinced of the substantiality afforded by shelter at your lotus feet, he took shelter of your lotus feet against the will of his father and demoniac friends who were killed by your own self. Prabhu, you can explain the context, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Karthik Prabhu. So, Bali Maharaj is speaking these verses, and the 2 steps of land have been taken by Sri Vamandev. And in those 2 steps, he pretty much got the entire planetary systems, the 14 planetary systems, which Bali Maharaj was formerly ruling. And now the question was where to put the 3rd step. So in the last verse, we were discussing that the futility of material affairs, that our property, wealth, and car, and husband, wife, children, etc., no matter how good or bad they may be, how rich or poor one may be, ultimately it will be futile, except for the 3 bhas: bhakti, bhagavan, and bhakta. So here, what is the real shelter? The real shelter is the lotus feet of Lord Hari. So continuing from the last verse, that all of the other things are futile. Discerning this, my knowledgeable Agada Bodha grandfather, Agada Bodha, he was very, very knowledgeable. He knew what is temporary and what is real, referring to Prahlad Maharaj. A devotee knows what is going to really help me and what will just drag me more into this whirlpool of material world, referring to attachment to material life. But attachment to spiritual life, attachment to the Pankajanghari, lotus feet of Sri Hari, Sri Krishna, that will save us from all the bondage. So we have to follow in the footsteps of great souls like Prahlad Maharaj. Was very afraid of worldly association. Afraid of worldly association means a healthy fear of Maya or non-devotee association. That association, because the common men, afraid of the common men of this world. Common men, what do they talk about? They talk about, oh, new hotel, new motel, new car, new brand, new thing to enjoy, new glasses, new phone, new drinks, new bar, new casino. That's what common men talk. Common men don't talk about Krishna. Only very rare souls, the devotees of Lord, talk about Krishna. Being fully convinced of this fact, he took shelter of Pada Padma against the will of his father. His father was not a supporter. His father didn't encourage him to take shelter of. Rather, his father tried to kill him in every possible way. So Your lotus feet dispel all fear. Akuto bhayam. Akuto bhayam. When one who has taken shelter of Pada Padmam, then there is no bhaya. Bhaya of what? Of anything. Like Prahlad Maharaj did not have any fear. Krishna, whatever you arrange will be best for me. That is the arrangement. Narayana parasarve na kutaschana bibhiyati swarga pavarga narkeshu apitulyatha darshana. So whether in England or Mayapur, whether in this world or the back in spiritual world, a pure devotee like Prahlad, like Bali, like His Grace Pankajanghari Prabhu, it's not a loss actually for them. It's a loss for the Vaishnav community for sure, for not having their Vapu association. But they are always in spiritual world. They are not part of this material world. As Prabhupada himself said, they especially came to help Prabhupada to assist in his mission, in the mission of Lord Chaitanya. So a pure devotee has no fear of anything. Why? Because if they are Pankajangri Das, the servant of the lotus feet of Krishna. Pada Padmam. So beautiful and such a kind of, it's not a coincidence. Krishna just wanted us to read this verse on this, remembering about His Grace Pankajangri Prabhu. So, any other comments, any additions anyone has? Sridham Prabhuji, would you like to read next verse, if it is okay for you?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I don't have my glasses, Prabhu, and I can't really see the verses,
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I
No,
apologize.
worries, Prabhuji. Uday Prabhuji, are you in a position to read? Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, not today.
Okay, sure. And that's absolutely fine, Prabhuji. We are grateful that you joined us. Yes, Kashish Mataji?
Hey Krishna, Dandat Pranam Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam all devotees. Text number 11. Athaham pyatma ripostavikvantikam devena nitah prasabham tyajita shrihi idam kritantanti kavarti jivitam yaya dhruvam stabdham artinam buddhyate. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Only by providence have I been forcibly brought under your lotus feet and deprived of all my opulence. Because of the illusion created by temporary opulence, people in general who live under material conditions, facing accidental death at every moment, do not understand that this life is temporary. Only by providence I have been saved from that condition. Purport. Bali Maharaj appreciated the actions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although all the members of the demoniac families except Prahlad Maharaj and Bali Maharaj considered Vishnu their eternal traditional enemy. As described by Bali Maharaj, Lord Vishnu was actually not the enemy of the family but the best friend of the family. The principle of this friendship has already been stated. Yasyaham anugrahanami harisye tadadhanam shaneha. The Lord bestows special favor upon his devotees by taking away all his material opulences. Bali Maharaj appreciated this behavior by Lord. Therefore he said, Devena nitaha prasabham tyajita strihi. It is to bring me to the right platform of eternal life that you have put me into these circumstances. Actually, everyone should fear the so-called society, friendship, and love for which he works so hard all day and night. As indicated by Bali Maharaj by the words Jana Dhitaha. Every devotee in Krishna consciousness should always be afraid of the common man engaged in pursuing material prosperity. Such a person is described as pramata, a madman chasing the will o' the wisp. Such men do not know that after a hard struggle for the life, one must change his body with no certainty of what kind of body he will receive next. Those who are completely established in Krishna consciousness philosophy and who therefore understand the aim of life will never take to the activities of materialistic dog race. But if a sincere devotee somehow fall down, the Lord corrects him and saves him from gliding down to the darkest region of hellish life. Adanta gobhir vishtam tamishram punah punas karvita karvananam. Bhagavatam 7.5.30. The materialistic way of life is nothing but the repeated chewing of that what has already been chewed. Although there is no profit in such a life, people are enamored of it because of uncontrolled senses. Numa pramattaha kurute vikrama. Because of uncontrolled senses, people fully engage in sinful activities by which they get a body full of suffering. Bali Maharaj appreciated how the Lord had saved him from such a bewildered life of ignorance. He therefore said that his intelligence has been stunned. Stabdha matir na buddhyate. He could not understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead favors his devotees by forcibly stopping their materialistic activities. Hey Krishna Prabhuji, this is very, very deep. It's the mercy of Lord that when he bestows his devotee with his name, then this world is really looks like a dream. On this platform, I will want to say one thing. Recently in India, the pandemic is at its worst, and I've seen so many of my relatives, young, old, just just going like that. It's really painful. And in this world, if anything can save you from this, it's only Krishna's name. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, back to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. It's certainly very, very painful to see our friends, relatives, well-wishers, devotee, family. A lot of people have been affected. A lot of lives have been lost because of this. So certainly very, very painful and depressing. So our prayers are with those who are going through a tough time in any aspect, either themselves battling these sickness or their friends or family members battling these, or they have lost any dear one, near one. Our prayers are with all those friends and devotees. And I'm sure there is practically like no family in India kind of who can say that everything in our family is okay, because there is no such family now. So we'll continue to pray and continue to be of some support in whatever way we can to those going through this difficult situation. I'll not speak a lot on this verse. Her Grace Narayani Mataji is going to take this verse in her class, not this Saturday, but the next Saturday. So we are all eager to hear from her in the following weekend session, which she'll be doing on this verse, especially Shri Shuka Uvacha Tasyetam Bhasmanasyasya Prahrido Bhagavat Priyaha Ajagama Kurushreshta Rakapatir Ivotithaha. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shukdev Goswami said, O best of the Kurus, while Bali Maharaj was describing the fortunate position in this way, the most dear devotee of the Lord, Prahlad Maharaj, appeared there like the moon rising in the night time. Hare Krishna. So, Yatra Gayanti Mad Bhakta Tatra Tishtami Narada. Wherever Krishna is there, devotees come. Where devotees are there, Krishna comes. So Prahlad Maharaj is not the great grandfather, grandfather of Bali, has appeared on the scene. Isn't that amazing? So Bali was remembering his great grandfather. Bali was glorifying his great virtues, his great qualities of devotion, and the moon has appeared in the night time. So this is a time of darkness, I feel. This is a time of a lot of uncertainty and darkness in this whole world. And what is the real moon is the shelter of Krishna and the devotees like Prahlad, like Pankajanghari Prabhu, like Prabhupada. If we take shelter of devotees in this time of darkness, which practically the whole world is going through, then only we will see some ray of hope, some ray of positivity, even in this difficult time. Only devotees can help us to get out of this darkness because they are connected to the source of light, which is Krishna. So they are themselves like light source because they're connected to the source of light. So I know practically every family is going through some disturbance, some emotional trauma, some physical trauma, some financial trauma. There is no family kind of bereft of this. Sooner or later, everyone is practically in the grip of this pandemic. But the ray of hope is great souls like Prahlad Maharaj, the holy name, the Bhagavatam, the bhaktas, the process of devotion. Any other comments anyone has before we move on? Okay, text 13. Yes, Puna Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandat Pranam, Shri Principal. Text 13. Taminat drasena swapitaha pitamaham shriya virajamanam nalinayate shanam prasam pisang gambaramanja tvisham pralamba bahum subha garsa pamokshata. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki Jai. Then Bali Maharaj saw his grandfather Prahlad Maharaj, the most fortunate personality whose dark body resembled black ointment for the eyes. His tall, elegant figure was dressed in yellow garments. He had long arms, and his beautiful eyes were like the petals of a lotus. He was very dear and pleasing to everyone. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. So the wonderful description of the personality of Sri Prahlad Maharaj is given here. His garments, his long arms, beautiful eyes like lotus petal. And most important, he was very, very dear and pleasing to everyone. That's something we can meditate upon. to become a well-wisher. That's a quality of a devotee. Suhrida Sarva Bhutanam. They are the well-wishers of everyone. Prabhupada also used to write in every letter, your ever well-wisher. There's a very nice video also available on YouTube about Prabhupada, your ever well-wisher. So a devotee is a genuine well-wisher for everyone. And very, very pleasing. Dhira dhira priya janam. Dhir adhira. That means to the gentle and to the ruffians, the Goswami, this is the Shad Goswami Ashtakam, they were very, very pleasing. Charu chitram padam shlaksham. Again, charu chitram. They are very, very pleasing and dearmost to all. So they're everyone's well-wisher. They are always very, very pleasing. By pleasing does not mean buttering. So this pleasing does not mean they, even if they, whatever they do is just pleasing to everyone, because they don't have any envy. In the material world, why do even if some person, let's say, why do say like, okay, the other person may sometimes find faults in, like A may find faults in B. Why? Because A wants to prove that I am better. But a pure soul, even if they kind of, like Prabhupada sometimes would heavy upon some disciples, but it was not to prove that Prabhupada is better. It was not to prove that I am great. It is because of their genuine love towards the other person, to help them come cycle of the out of birth and death. So very, very dear, pleasing to everyone personality, Sri Prahlad Maharaj has appeared on the scene. Let's see further. Yes, Priyanka Mataji, would you like to read?
Sorry, Prabhu, not today.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, I can read. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Text 14. Tasmai bali varuna pashyantritah samaharanam nopajahar purvavat nanam murdhna sru vilochanah savridanichi namukho bahu babhuvah. Translation. Being bound by the ropes of Varuna, Bali Maharaja could not offer befitting respect to Prahlad Maharaja as he had before. Rather, he simply offered respectful obeisance with his head, his eyes being inundated with tears and his face lowered in shame. Purport. Since Bali Maharaja has been arrested by Lord Vamandeva, he was certainly to be considered an offender. Bali Maharaja seriously felt that he was an offender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Certainly, Prahlad Maharaja would not like this. Therefore, Bali Maharaja was ashamed and hung his head. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for this. So, a lot of nice lessons in this verse. Number one, that we should always offer respectful obeisance to the devotees, and especially, of course, to every devotee, but especially like if a great soul like Prahlad Maharaj has appeared, and he also happens to be the grandfather of Bali Maharaj. So we can imagine that how important it is to offer proper respects. So this scene is nicely kind of depicted in this picture here, that his head was lowered, his eyes inundated with tears, and face lowered in shame, because he's bound now. He can't offer Dandavat Pranam. He can't offer the pranam like, or Panchang Pranam, Ashtang Pranam, etc., because he's bound. But nonetheless, nothing, as we say, nothing material can stop us from practicing bhakti. So there could be sometimes situation a devotee cannot, fully bow down. Let's say the leg is fractured, or there is some serious injury in the knee or something like that. But what is stopping us from lowering our head and offering genuine respects to the deities, to the devotees? That's very, very important lesson. And he is also feeling ashamed actually in this. He's feeling very remorseful that what will his grandfather Prahlad Maharaj think? That he has committed some offense. That's why the Lord has bound him. So, or was he ashamed that seeing Prahlad, since he had suddenly forgotten Prahlad's teaching about not showing pride on the occasion of donating land? So, in short, his mood is very trinada pisunichena. Even though he's bound, but he's not giving any excuses. In the heart, he is doing his best. So, such a great lesson here. And he so has the attitude of respect and reverence towards his grandfather and a great Mahajan like Prahlad. He's not thinking, oh, I'm also a Mahajan. He's not thinking like that. He's not thinking, well, I gave everything. He's not complaining. Grandfather, you have a special connection with Narsingadev. You tell him. You tell him that I'm your grandson. Get me out of this trouble. Right? That's how a common person would think, that this boss better, can kindly do something about it. But rather he is feeling ashamed of not being able to serve Vaman Dev to the best of his ability, not being able to offer proper respects to the best of his ability to Prahlad Maharaj. Any other comments? Anyone else? Any additions, questions?
Prabhu, we just read in the last shloka that Prahlad Maharaj appeared and his complexion is black. So whose dark body resembled black ointment for the eyes. And also in Mayapur Narsingadev deity, the deity is black, Prahlad Maharaj. So in this plate, it is golden. Is that correct, Prabhu? Is that one we are referring to? Maybe the plate has description. The picture of you just shared.
The picture has the golden or the yellow robes. Let me go and read whether this picture is referring to this verse or it was referring to the last verse.
Thank you, Prabhu. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, actually it is from 21st chapter. So the picture is from 21st chapter when he was captured. So firstly, we are not sure the picture I showed, that person in the yellow robes was Prahlad Maharaj or not. So that's not explicitly mentioned here. So this picture is from the last chapter, 21st chapter, when he was captured. Okay. But I just thought to share the mood, that face lowered, and that certainly is mentioned here, and the bound with the ropes of Varun Pasha.
Thank you for clarification, Prabhu. Thank you. That's all I wanted. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, any additions, any questions anyone has? Okay, so I guess we will pause here and continue tomorrow with the next set of verses. Grantraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai. His Grace Pankajanghari Prabhu ki jai. Grace Pankajanghari Prabhu ki jai. His Grace Pankajanghari Prabhu ki jai. Srila Prabhupad ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.